Rain came down in sheets, soaking the mourners as they huddled under black umbrellas around the open grave of Elliot Gray. The sky seemed to mourn with them, the low rumble of thunder rolling in the distance. Elliot was only 24, a smart, thoughtful, deeply loyal soul with an awkward laugh and a kindness that made people trust him. His death was ruled accidental, an unfortunate fall during one of his solo hikes near Haver Cliffs. But among the mourners stood 5 people who weren't truly grieving. They were silent, motionless, locked in an invisible war of glances. Isla Rowan, Grant Delaney, Maya Lennox, Zeke Carson, and Rhea Vaughn, the 5 remaining members of what used to be a tight-knit group once known as the Six. They'd grown up together in the small town of Haver's Edge. Best friends. Family even. But that was before secrets took root in their hearts. Before silence became a shield, and before Elliot threatened to break that silence. Now he was gone, and Isla could feel the truth clawing its way back from the grave. She hadn't spoken much since the news. Instead, she replayed everything, especially that weekend at the cabin. Their last time together. Supposedly one final escape before they went their separate ways. Isla was preparing for grad school in London. Grant had landed a job with Homeland Security. Maya was working for a powerful senator. Zeke was lost in grief after his father's overdose. And Rhea always played the observer, her quiet demeanor concealing layers no one had dared to peel back. They hadn't expected what Elliot brought with him. Not physically, but emotionally. He was distant that weekend. Tense. And then, after too many drinks by the fire, he dropped the bomb. "I can't keep lying," he'd said. "Not about what happened to Nico. Not about what we covered up. I'm going to the police." The silence afterward was deafening. Isla remembered the way Grant had looked at him. Stern, cold, calculating. She remembered Maya's lips parting slightly, but no words came out. Rhea's face had gone pale. Zeke had stormed off, muttering, "You're bluffing." But Elliot wasn't. He never bluffed. That night changed everything. Now, standing at his grave, Isla wondered, was it guilt that had killed him? Or something much darker? Later that night, unable to shake the storm in her chest, Isla dug through her phone and found Elliot's last message. One she had never opened. "If anything happens to me, it wasn't an accident. You know where to look." A sharp breath caught in her throat. She knew exactly what he meant. 2 days later, Isla drove back to Lake Haver, back to the old cabin where it all began. The roads were slick, the pine trees tall and foreboding. The cabin hadn't changed much. Dust-covered windows, brittle shingles, a sagging porch that groaned beneath her weight. She hesitated at the basement door. Her heart pounded as she pulled it open and stepped into the damp darkness. The air was stale, thick with mildew and secrets. She found it behind the old shelving unit, a small metal lockbox hidden beneath rotting blankets. Inside, she found a USB drive, a blood-stained bandana, and a photo. It was them, the Six, smiling, arms slung around each other around a bonfire. But behind them, in the shadows, stood another boy, Nico Hartwell, 15, quiet, always following them around that summer, until the night he vanished. Everyone said he ran away. His body was never found. But Isla remembered. They all lied. Nico had shown up at the cabin that night, bleeding from the mouth, crying. He said Grant had punched him after a fight. Said Maya threatened him not to talk. Said Zeke stole pills from his brother's room. The group cornered him. They told him to keep quiet or they'd ruin him. But something went wrong. Nico ran. Elliot chased him. And later that night, Grant returned alone, his hands trembling and shoes muddy. "He fell," he'd whispered. "It was dark. I couldn't find him." They buried the truth, swore to protect each other. Now Elliot had tried to unearth it, and he was dead. Isla drove straight to Detective Darren Lang, a retired officer who had quietly mentored her late father. She handed over everything. "There's no statute of limitations on this," Lang muttered, examining the photo and bloodied cloth. "You're saying they covered up a death? And now one of them's dead too." "He didn't just fall," Isla said. "They pushed him, maybe not physically, but they killed him with their silence." Lang nodded. "Then let's drag that silence into the light." Each of the others received the same anonymous message that night. Just one line. I know what you did to Nico. So did Elliot. They convened at the cabin the next day, just as Isla had expected. Ria arrived first. She looked worn, almost relieved. Zeke came next, jittery and strung out. Then Maya, composed but pale. Grant came last, stepping out of a black sedan like a man already on trial. You sent the message, Grant said to Isla without accusation, just certainty. Isla didn't answer. Instead, she set the USB drive on the old wooden table. It has Elliot's voice recordings, she said. His journal entries. He remembered everything. So do I. Zeke started pacing. We didn't kill Nico. He ran off. We tried to find him. You never tried, Isla snapped. You were all too busy covering your own backs. Maya stepped forward, her voice cold. And what do you want now? Confessions? Closure. I want the truth, Isla said. I want Elliot's death to mean something. Grant's jaw tightened. He was weak. He was brave, Ria whispered. He tried to do what we were too scared to do. Then, with a trembling hand, Ria pulled out a folded map and set it down. A red X marked a clearing just past the old fire trail. I buried his body, she said. Nico. I didn't kill him, but I helped hide him. I've been carrying that for 5 years. The group was silent. This time, the silence didn't protect them. It condemned them. Detective Lang led the search. The site was exactly where Ria marked. A shallow grave. Remains wrapped in a decomposed hoodie. Dental records confirmed it. Nico Hartwell. Dead at 15. Buried by fear. The news exploded. Grant was charged with obstruction, tampering with evidence, and accessory after the fact. Maya's political career was obliterated. Zeke entered court-mandated rehab. Ria turned herself in and struck a deal for cooperation. Elliot was posthumously vindicated. Months later, Isla stood alone at the lake's edge. Fall leaves drifted across the water. She clutched a journal Elliot had left behind, pages of guilt, pain, and clarity. They say silence protects, but all it did was destroy us. She closed the journal and tears rolled down her eyes. They had once promised never to turn on each other, but that promise was built on lies. And when the silence shattered, the truth didn't just break them. It exposed them, because in the end, the most terrifying monsters weren't hiding in the dark. They were holding your hand, calling themselves your friends. Isla stood alone at Elliot's grave, the cold wind brushing against her face like a final goodbye. I told the truth, she whispered, placing the photo of their group beside the headstone. I broke the silence, for you, for Nico. Her voice trembled. I'm sorry it took losing you to finally speak. She turned to leave, but paused, eyes wet. You were the only one brave enough to carry the truth. I'll carry the rest. And in the stillness, it felt like Elliot was finally free. Subscribe, like, and comment.